All right, today's lesson is going to be on area. Now let's just review some common formulas of area. If we have a rectangle, this is going to be the base, this is going to be the height. So the area is going to equal base times height. If you had a triangle, this is going to be your base, and your height is actually perpendicular to the base. So in the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. If we have a shape, something like this, and if I tell you that this is area 1, this is area 2, this is area 3, and this is area 4, if I ask you for the total area, you just add up the 4 areas. It's area 1 plus area 2 plus area 3 plus area 4, and that will give you the grand total of the area. So let's keep that in mind. We are going to use integrals to find the area. And this is actually approximate area under a curve. This is going to be leading to a Riemann sum. When you find the area, these are estimates using triangles. I mean, rectangles, sorry. If we are using left rectangles, that we're going to refer to as LRAM. This means that they are left rectangular approximation method. Meaning we'll be using the left-hand points and creating a rectangle with the left-hand points. With that said, we will also have right rectangles. That's going to be known as RRAM. And lastly, we will have midpoint rectangles. Which is going to be known as MRAM. We'll go ahead and start off with an example. Use left and right endpoints and given number of rectangles to find 2 approximations of the area. Our equation is going to be y equals x squared plus 2. We are only going to look at the interval from 0 to 2. And I want 4 rectangles. Now I'm going to represent this as A and this one as B. Now when I'm trying to find out what the bases of each rectangle, our base of each rectangle, I'm going to refer to that as delta. And that's going to be B minus A divided by N. N is going to be the number of rectangles that you want. So right here, I'm going to say 2 minus 0 divided by 4, which is 2 divided by 4, which is 1/2. So basically, I'm going to start at 0 and end at 2, and I'm going to go by halves. So I'm gonna start off at 0, and I'm gonna go by halves. So then that's 1/2, 1. Now 1.5 is the same as saying 3/2, and then 2. So look, this is 1 rectangle, 2 rectangles, 3 rectangles, 4 rectangles. I'm going to go ahead and plug in 0. So if I do 0 squared, that's 0 plus 2, which is a 2. If I plug in 1/2, 1/2 squared, that's 1/4 plus 2, which is going to be a 2.25. 1 squared is 1 plus 2 is 3. 3/2 square is 9/4 plus 2 is going to be 4.25. 2 squared is 4 plus 2 is 6. So this is what our graph looks like. I'm going to actually graph it 2 times because I'm going to do the left hand rectangles and the right hand rectangles. So on this side, I'll do the left. And on this side, I'll do the right. And my x-axis, I'm going to go by halves. I need to make sure I go all the way up to 6. I'm going to graph the points. So at 0, it's at 2. At 1/2, it's at 2.25. At 1, it's at 3. At 3.2, it's 4.25. And at 2, it's at 6. So you can see the curve. And it is a parabola because the x squared. Graph the same here. Now, when I say you're going to have 4 rectangles, this is going to be the left side. So you're going to include 0. You want the 4 on the left. So I want the height at 0. I want the height at 1/2. I want the height at 1. And I want the height at 3/2. This is the right side. So I want the 4 on the right. So I start off with these 4. So starting off with 2, I want the height at 2 on this one. I want the height at 3/2 on this one, the height on 1 on this one, and the height at 1/2 on this one. Now this is going to be an underestimate. Why is it underestimate? Because all my rectangles are under it. This one's going to be an overestimate because all of my rectangles are above it. Now the right does not always mean overestimate, because if the parabola is going down, it'd be vice versa. Now we're going to find the areas. Now each base is 1/2. Each base is 1/2. It's the heights that are changing. So on the left side, I only want these 4 heights. On the right side, I want these 4 heights. So on the left side, this is going to be the LRAM. The area of the left side. So this is going to be 1/2. And remember, my height is going to be a 2 on this one. Plus, my base here is 1/2, and my height is going to be the 2.25. 1/2, and the height of 3. 1/2, and the height of 4.25. If you notice, all of these all have in half. So what you could do is you could put your base on the outside and then just add up all the heights. So I can add up the 2 plus 2.25, and that's always going to happen as long as all of your bases are the same. When I add these up, I get 11.5. So the left-hand area is going to be a 5.75. Let's go ahead and do our RAM, our right side. Now on this one, remember you want the 4 on the you want the height of 2, the height of 3 halves, the height of 3, and the height right here at 2.25. So I'm going to omit this one. So this height is going to be the 2.25. This height is going to be the 3. This is going to be the 4.25. And this height is going to be the 6. And once again, because all of those heights are 1/2, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to factor out the 1/2 and put all these heights on the inside. 2.25, 3, 4.25, and 6. When I add up all of these, I get a 15.5. So the area of the right is going to be 7.75. And like I said, this was an underestimate because it's under, this one's an overestimate. So what does that tell me? That tells me that the area is between these two values, 5.75, the area, and 7.75. Now let's say I want the midpoints, okay? We're gonna still use this same one. So let's go ahead and I'll write that as a B, right? I want the midpoints of y equals x squared plus 2 from 0 to 2. And I want 4 rectangles again. So once again, this is your A, this is your B, and this is your N. So each base is going to be 2 minus 0 divided by 4. It's still going to be a half. However, we want the midpoint. Now, this is the way that I do it. I'm going to actually write this as a decimal. You can leave it as a half. It's totally fine. So basically what's going to happen is I have 0, I have a 0.5, I have a 1, I have a 1.5, and I have a 2. You want the middle. So the middle of 0 and 0.5, what you're going to do is you're going to add these up and then divide by 2. So the middle here is going to be 8.25. So that's the height that you're going to want. You're going to have to plug in 0.25. Find the middle here. Take 0.5 plus 1 and divide by 2. That's going to give you 0.75. Do the same here. You're going to get a 1.25. Here, you're going to get a 1.75. So when I'm doing my T-chart, these are the 4 heights that I want. I want the 0.25, 0.75, 1.25, and 1.75. I'm going to go ahead and draw my graph though. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm still going to use these points right here that we did. So at 0 is at 2. At 1.25 it was 2.25. At 1 it's at 3. At 3 it's 4.25, 6. So the graph still looks like this. I'm going to go ahead and find out what these values are. It's fast if you just type this into your y equals. Go to my table and I'm going to plug in 0.25, 0.75, 1.25, and 1.75. And there's my y values. So here, this is going to be a 2.0625, 2.5625, 3.5625, 5.0625. Now your 4 rectangles is the middle. So here's the middle. There's the rectangle right there. Because this is the middle right here. Between these two, the middle was 0.75. It's right there. That's the middle. Between 1 and 3.5, that was 3/2, that's 1.25, which is right here. There's the middle. And then between 3/2 and 2, that's 1.75, which is right here. Well, there's the middle. But I already know those heights. So the height right here is 2.0625. The height right here is 2.56. So now when I'm finding the area of the midpoint, my base is still 1/2. But now this height is going to be this one. My base is still 1/2. And the height's going to be 2.5625. My base is still 1/2. 3.5625. My base is still 1/2. 5.0625. All of them all have 1/2, so I could just factor out the 1/2. And I'm just basically adding up just these heights. So let me add up all those heights. 2.0625 plus 2.5625 plus 3.5625 plus 5.0625. So it's 1/2 times 13.25. So the area of the midpoint is going to be 6.625. And this is actually a better estimate because look at that number is actually in between here. And look at, you have a little bit over and a little bit under, a little bit over, a little bit under, a little bit over, a little bit under, a little bit over, a little bit under. And that concludes our notes.